6 minutes of space.
Okay.
We better get talking.
Okay, all right, solid. Great.
Well, welcome back.
What's going on, guys? Back at it again
With another video.
with another video. We have a new guest for you. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Bobby. I am a friend of Cillian Curtis's. I am really into Noam Chomsky. And that is my whole personality,
As you
pretty
can
much.
see above his. Can you see it?
Yeah,
Can
it is
the-
framed. I have
you guys
meticulously framed my coconut Noam Chomsky photo.
also- We switched places specifically so Bobby could have that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that is
A
true.
very representative photo of the man. Yeah.
So, what are we talking about today, Curtis?
Well, last time. So this actually we baited you, Bobby. We're actually not talking about what I told you we were talking
Oh,
about.
okay, great.
Because
Excellent.
we had another topic that we didn't tackle yet, which was. Oh, so like what? What?
Nothing.
Tell me.
Right, this is hilarious.
It is hilarious.
Yeah.
It is hilarious.
I also didn't, for our beloved listeners, I also did not know that I would need to set up. I literally thought we would be the three of us with one microphone, and
Yeah.
we'd just be like chilling. We had one other podcasting session that was also funny, in which I did not realize the podcast was video, and I was there, like, also very sweaty, actually. And,
When was this? I don't remember this.
This was like years ago. This was like in remember SFU, and then white balancing the camera, and I was like, we're not just like recording, and I didn't actually realize the camera was used for the podcast. I
Huh.
thought it was like for something else you guys were doing,
Huh.
and I was just looking at the microphone.
It's like a phone dog.
it's like a phone dog. Yeah, exactly.
It's
Yeah,
just
I did
there. We
not
just have the
see-
camera for no reason.
Yeah,
At all.
exactly. Yeah,
I don't remember doing that. But if it was during SFU, I don't remember much of SFU to begin with. So.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
Fair,
sure.
fair to block it out.
Yeah.
Block out those years. Yeah.
Anyway, what was it? Oh yeah. So okay. So like Sports Illustrated
Yeah.
published a cover apparently. Well, I didn't see it, but it's and it has like somewhat overweight person on the cover.
Oh yeah, this was yeah. I think I heard about this.
I think I recently saw a fucking Jordan Peterson tweet about it.
Oh
Do
yeah.
we have to talk about that?
I heard about that, yeah.
We do because
It's
it is
unfortunate.
what that is about.
Oh,
Yeah.
like Jordan Peterson?
Well, not Jordan Peterson, but like people like him.
Yeah, no, that's
Okay.
that's really unfortunate. Actually, I saw a video about this. I saw there's one of a YouTuber I like called Lonerbox. He did a video on this in which he mentioned Jordan Peterson had this thing about standards of beauty that also didn't have anything to like is constant of like I mean I think Jordan Peterson's kind of like a Twitter maestro in which this whole like cancel culture business
Yes.
is something he thrives on.
Yes.
Like the more outraged and like
Yes.
they're all taking over, like the more of that his followers just eat it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. He does a good job of mixing up his like audience of like there's like some people who like him for the self-help content, and then there's like the fringes of it who just like he just tries to signal that I'm anti-woke and then tries to funnel them into his book sales.
True.
So he's a
but,
pretty
but
good-
we are not talking about Jordan Peterson
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
Not today.
Sure, sure. Yeah,
That is a great topic, and that is something that
We can
should
get into that
address.
later. if you
Yeah,
want.
yeah, yeah.
No.
I'm just not a huge. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah,
But
I'm
like
also,
the
I'm
topic
also that
he
too.
had broached was essentially
No, because I don't know how I feel about that. Like, because there's obviously not that specific thing, but we could talk about that specific thing. But just in general, how obviously because we come from communications.
Yes.
We're all
Yeah.
communications majors here, so there's a particular way that we look at the world. So maybe we're all just saying the same thing over and over again.
Critical
but
lens.
yeah, but like how like if the media like even just having we were talking about this last time, even just having a TV show with a regular person on the street
Mm-hmm.
can have that type of influence of like, oh, that's what a regular person should look like. That's what regular people look like.
Yeah.
And so like, but
regular people, right?
yeah, kind of thing, right? But that's also difficult because like, how would I ever make a show without having like people, you know what I mean? So then there's also like, okay, representation and all that stuff. There's that stuff too. But I don't know how I feel about like every issue is different,
Yeah.
to be fair.
Yeah.
Right, because there's representation of like different, skin color versus like there's also
Yeah.
this issue where I was talking about like weight management kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does that
So-
spark any thoughts for
Well,
you guys?
for me, it's like
So like
Yeah.
the topic essentially is that are we fetishizing overweight and what was that?
That's not the topic.
No, what
the
was-
topic was
Yeah.
the media. Like, I'm just questioning how much
Okay.
the media should play a
A
role,
role.
or like what stand. Like, it just the whole thing is a
Yeah.
very interesting topic. Like
Yeah.
when so for Sports Illustrated,
Uh-huh.
let's say Sports Illustrated, whether it is or not, let's just pretend that Sports Illustrated is like a big company that has like
I mean, it's a massive brand.
Everybody,
Yeah, it's a massive
sure,
brand.
yeah, right,
Yeah.
okay. And so when you see on the cover of Sports Illustrated, they're taking kind of like a position on the health thing, I guess, by
Right.
saying like, hey, it's okay to be overweight or something like that. Like
Yeah.
whether they're literally saying that or not, them putting an overweight person on the cover could
It has
implicit.
Yeah.
implicit connotations. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm just saying that also applying to the rest of all the other things with media, like just like I was saying, like when media takes, I don't want to say take a stand, but like, you know, when they put stuff out, it
Yeah.
has an influence on the people that consume it.
Yeah. Well, you know, for me, like with these conversations, it's like, it's kind of honestly, it's like I always want to go back to. It's actually it ties a little bit to like what I think people should understand more about things like Jordan Peterson or whatever. Like, it's not we are not putting someone on Sports Illustrated for any particular reason. These are media companies that want to maximize profits
True.
and brand loyalty, and inclusion of this regard gives them a broader economic base with which to sell things.
Yes.
So body
Totally.
Yeah.
that's like separately from any social issue.
True.
Like, so Sports Illustrated is doing it because it helps their bottom line.
Yes.
So
Totally.
and that's with pretty much any company.
Yeah,
They're
I mean,
not like
it's
it's
the
the
same-
same with Pride.
Yep.
It's the same with Black Lives Matter.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Environment.
Yeah, there's an indicator. It's a positive. It might be a positive social indicator that, like, you know, for example, like in the '60s, like I'll just use example of Black Lives Matter. Like in social issues, corporations using social issues, right? It's kind of positive because in the '60s, the civil rights movement was widely hated because it was kind of a minority of the population of the United States who was kind of supported it, and then it kind of grew and grew and grew. But like, you would never have like GM or Ford or whatever saying we support Martin Luther King, right? It's like it was never happened.
True.
But now, because actually the majority of the population, by numbers, really supported Black Lives Matter, contrary to what we might get
Yeah.
from
It became
the YouTube
co-opted,
fucking
right?
thing.
Like
Yeah.
mainstream co-opted that.
Yeah, it's a co-optation,
Yeah.
but I mean, it is a co-optation in that sense, but it's also just an indicator that, okay, this is like the majority of the people like
Yes.
supports this, right?
Yes.
We will support this.
Yes.
It's the same with like body positivity too. It's like, you know, like I'm personally of the opinion that like, yeah, it's a positive social thing that we're
Yeah.
just like aware that we shouldn't shit on fat people, and
I-
then corporations also want to say that, hey, we're body positive, partly also because like I don't know about exactly Sports Illustrated's business, but garment makers, I mean, make a killing on plus size fashion because like something like 40% of people are overweight or obese, right?
Yep.
Like, so this is very practical.
Yes.
That's it. Like,
Totally.
from a political economy angle, like this is what is happening. So this is not like, this is not,
yeah.
"Ooh, the tides are turning and our social environment is shifting." No, it's money. They want money, and they usually, why would they not want money? Like,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
So-
yeah, that's pretty much. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I think we've explained it all.
Yeah.
Well, I guess because then the
It
question
explains the majority. Yeah, there's a lot more to it, but that to me is the thrust.
that totally, like, I obviously no one's surprised there.
Yeah.
But you know, again, going back to the communications thing,
Yeah.
it's like in an ideal world, it's curious. Let's say I'm like me when I think of I'm just gonna make a show
Yeah.
for fun. When I decide to like, or maybe not even decide, just to have a person in there, it's just curious. Like it almost it makes me like, oh fuck, should I even? Is that even okay to like just exist?
Oh, yeah.
Because then I'm like, am I saying that that's what a person should be?
Yeah.
Or like, you know, like there's, and obviously I'm getting a little too sensitive there. I shouldn't be so.
Yeah.
But I just think of like the ideal world of like, you know, in communications, like the media plays a role, and they like the ideal, you know, they're the I can't remember. They're like the medium between the people and people in power, like the government or like whatever,
Yeah.
right? Like that's the ideal version. I'm not saying they are. That's not how they exist right now.
Yeah.
But the ideal version of it, right, is like it's like people with like big platforms.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like they should have some, you know, like
Accountability.
responsibility, or like they
Yeah.
should, you know, should they weigh in on certain topics because they have a certain amount of influence.
Yeah.
That in itself, I think, is just an interesting thing to think about, I guess. Like, I don't know what, like, if I was the guy deciding what to put on Sports Illustrated,
Yeah.
I don't know, like, because it's not, like, obviously I don't, you know, condone fat shaming and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess the question of, like, health is interesting to me.
Yeah, no,
You know
for
what I
sure.
mean?
So there's a big
But again,
discussion.
every issue is different, obviously.
Yeah. Like there's discussion, I think, about what is the influence of the body positive movement? Like, is it helping people lose weight, or like, because like it's pretty objective that like there's a very small minority of the body positive movement who might think like, and I mean like fucking like 12 prominent people online or something who think that like, oh, obesity and overweight have nothing to do with heart disease or cancer or anything, right? But I think a broader movement of it is just like, can you please stop shitting on fat people, because it's very harmful to our feelings, like, which is, I'm sure most people are also on board with that. Again, just to underscore, it's like, as far as like people with platforms go, it's like, again, it's money, right? It's platforms want to make money, so if you can make money by telling people.
Well, for example, like Jen,
Yeah.
like feels she has at least somewhat of a platform, right? Like, and she isn't obviously motivated to like push like for money in that way for some issues that she cares about. Like, she cares about,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm thinking more about, because
Right.
obviously, like, that stuff, obviously nobody's surprised about.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's everybody's
Yes,
like,
yeah.
if as soon as you say it, you're like, yeah, of course, that's right.
So I should clarify, by like people with platforms, like I mean platforms like multi-million, like Instagram, so Snapchat,
Okay, yeah.
multi-million-dollar internet businesses that
Right.
use algorithms to feed you shit.
Yep.
But apart from them, like people with platforms, I think it just varies by the individual. Like, I mean, it depends on individuals' motivations. Like people can have diverse motivations and also have different, like, ideas about things, and it kind of depends on where you go online and what your opinions of things are. I know in scientific literature, like, I mean, I'm not sure if I'm hitting the question on the nail on the head, but I'll say in scientific literature, I did a health psychology course, and one of the things they mentioned was, in health messaging, like whether, the differences of negative reinforcement messaging versus positive negative reinforcement messaging. Like, so for example, like when you say to someone, like smoking, for example, like, smoking does this and does that, and it blackens your lungs and everything. Apparently showing the images of it is kind of helpful, but
To a certain extent.
yeah, but to an extent. But then, what you also helps is you have to be like, look at this gum instead of smoking. Look what you're gaining by not smoking. Like what are you gaining by making this decision every time to not smoke?
Right.
It's like a positive thing.
Right.
So with obesity too, it's like, negative messaging. Like, and also, a part of the reason why negative messaging hurts is because it makes people shut down. Like, it's just a little bit like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
fuck,
and apathy.
right?
It causes apathy.
It causes apathy because
Yes.
people want to go away, and if
Yeah.
they have a bad habit like
Yeah.
overeating or smoking
Yeah.
or drugs or whatever,
And if it's
they
too-
go into that bad
Yeah,
habit.
and it
So
seems
it
too
can
big
be-
to be too hard to surmount. So,
too hard to amount, and then
Yeah.
or they just don't engage with it.
Yep.
Or they just feel like, I'm escaping the negative psychological response here by going into the thing that comforts me, right? And then so like, just like, it's why actually a lot of health messaging is like, oh, I ordered a salad today, I took the stairs. It's like, I'm gaining something by doing something positive.
It's
You know
the
what I mean?
same for
Like-
environmental psychology or environmental communications as well, where you are trying to give the people a reason to make change.
Yeah.
Because like, and the environment problem is just so big, it causes people apathy. It's like, I don't know
Yeah,
what the fuck
yeah,
to
it's
do. It's
useful.
like, what's my part in this? I like,
Totally.
But then
Yeah.
helping them see that, even if you do this little part, how does it as a collective have some kind of change?
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and the thing is though, like so both, I think, to my memory, like both of them actually are effective, but there's subtleties in the circumstances.
Yes, and the extent to which you want to
it
balance
goes
the
away.
both.
Yeah, and as far as like body positivity and stuff goes, I think it's just like people just want a place on the internet where they feel like they're secure and people are nice to them, and
Yeah,
it's just like I say, like a safe space or whatever.
Absolutely, and I think like having larger brands acknowledge other body types which haven't been like traditionally till now. We in all forms of social media or media in general,
Yeah.
we haven't really seen these different types of body types, right? Like
Yeah.
it's just very recently in the past 5-7 years that we have started to see
Yeah.
more
More.
different types of body types. We've started these conversations about like those are photoshopped like women, or they are like bulimic and like they're like they have like
Yeah.
massive like food issues, right? Like
Yeah.
so like body image issues, like so there's like a whole like bevy of things that we have come to terms with because of that entire conversation.
Yeah.
Plus, like me being able to see someone who looks like me on the cover of like, a massive platform just like gives me some validation. It's like, yeah, I mean, I'm also normal, because like we all want to feel normal and accepted and validated for like who we are, and then it becomes harder when like all like forms of media are just showing you that slim, like like jacked person or whatever, right?
Especially
like,
for women,
slim girls, jacked women, jacked guys.
There's a huge gender component too, because like I would say. Like I mean, as a kid, I was definitely obese, but like, I've struggled with my weight most of my life, and by struggled I mean done nothing about it. But like, like it's always, I'm always like.
You try, Bobby. You try.
I try.
There was a time where Bobby was working out a lot. Bobby was killing it.
Soon.
Yeah, but I think
Actually,
that's the thing.
I have to say something about that. So when I was killing it and I was losing weight, psychologically, so 2 times it happened. One was in high school, around like because puberty for some reason just slimmed me the hell out. Really, I just slimmed out for no reason, and I still thought I was fat because I.
Fair enough.
Like,
that's a body image issue.
You look back and you're like, oh my god, that was the best I ever looked, and you think you're fat at the time. But like, but yeah, actually, and also when I was working out and getting jacked, it's like psychologically, I didn't realize like how many like. I'm fat. Like how much of your self identity is tied up with being the big person. Because like in male, like with men being fat, like I'm a fat funny guy, and that is like a trope. Like it's like Chris Farley or like fucking
I guess
like,
to be honest with you, like
Patrice
the
O'Neal,
way I
Louis C.K.
like the role you played in my life was never fat. I never saw you as like the fat guy.
Well, that's the thing. So most people never do. Like, but I had that internal psychology.
Exactly. But like
it's like,
we have.
I'm not.
We have this tendency to look at ourselves and have these body image issues that we assign to ourselves, although that might not be the truth, right?
Yeah.
So there is a
or how other people or whatever you're saying.
And I have to say something about that. So just because we're talking about you guys never saw me as a fat person. There are women who I like didn't even register as fat who told me that their parents would always just be like, "Oh, you're fat." And I'm like, "What? You look completely fine." And like, it's just. It's outrageous.
I mean,
like,
women have had it for all of since the beginning of time. Women have had like body body image issues.
Image issues.
Especially since the advent of media, right? Like they have been
media,
shown,
especially. Yes.
Like
so mass media.
Totally. Like they've shown certain things, but that's not the reality of your life, and then you're made to feel shit about that. By everything, right? Like the whole this
you're not
system.
fat, and you're
like
you
can like do this to get fat.
You're not muscular enough.
But for men, apparently, very recently, men have also started to feel this this body image issues, apparently because of like social media.
I've noticed it. I feel like my body image is more.
So interestingly,
some guys get like implants instead of working out. Kind of.
Wow. You guys see that thing about the guys who inject oil in themselves?
Ew.
No.
Oh my god. So apparently, there's like I was mostly in Brazil. I was looking at it, but I think it's a lot of places like they want bigger muscles, so they take mineral oil and they inject it into their arms, and it doesn't even look like muscle. It looks like this gloopy mess.
Ew.
But they just feel like they're big and strong by injecting mineral oil in their bodies. And I was like, oh my god. Yeah, it was
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was like, highly recommend the video if you want to see it.
I mean, segue.
Hey, Jamie, pull that up. Yeah, right?
Segue.
Hey, Jamie, what does that look like? Sorry. Anyways, sorry, about the gender thing too. Is like, that's the other thing too. Is like, I've noticed that like, I don't know. I guess I always thought, when I was coming of age or whatever, that like, society would be more accepting and like we would go into the. But if anything, I think there's become like 2 tiers. Like there's like a society and social opinion that's like more accepting and everything. But I feel like the kind of superficiality of society has just gotten like full tier. Like the Kardashians and plastic surgery, dudes with like 8-packs and like, like. Even like I was watching Chris Bumstead, who's like this Mr. Olympia bodybuilder. He's like this crazy like successful bodybuilder. And then he was like doing like a shredding week, and I was like watching this video, and then he's just like he even said to the camera like, guys, this is what I do to get shredded from Mr. Olympia. This is not healthy. Like but now it's like 4% body fat is normalized, and a lot of trainers are just like that's not even.
It's like that Barbie girl that has so many cosmetic plastic
liquid diet
like all the stuff where she like all the surgeries to make her actually look like a Barbie doll shape that's not even humanly possible.
You can't do that.
It doesn't look human, right?
It doesn't look human.
Oh, then there was that story about
it's like anime
a guy.
goals.
You hear this? I can't remember if it's in Korea or not, where like a guy married a girl and she had so much plastic surgery that when they had kids or something.
yeah.
Oh yeah, he like sued her for like.
Yeah, for,
it's
like-
completely different.
That's
I remember that.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's outrageous.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, man,
That's
that's,
crazy.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, Korea has a pretty so toxic body culture. I remember there was this one
Massively.
I can't remember if it was some woman had achieved some social prominence. I'm not sure if she was a beauty contestant or something or she won some singing competition, I think, and then she got like hate messages and hate mail for being like too ugly to win the singing contest or something.
Wow.
And it was like crazy, and like and it's like.
Well, we don't know. These are just the stories
Yeah,
we
this is a
hear. These are just
hearsay
the
of-
stories we
Yes.
hear.
This-
Maybe it's totally different.
Yeah,
over there.
this
I
is
don't
like
know.
just
But-
random Googling that have
Yes.
entered your brain and you.
But
Yes,
again,
after
like
the
I mean,
internet,
I
right.
know for a lot of parts of Asia, like this is a fact. Like women and body issues are used as a way to sell them products.
Oh yeah, I'm saying here, yeah, but
Right,
it
like,
just goes to
yeah.
the next level.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
there it just goes to the next level because like what's like this. I forget. Unilever is like the biggest brand in like Asia,
Yeah.
which is trying to tell people it through one of their brands, like Fair and Lovely. Like, oh, if you're dark, you're fucked. Like, here's how you get like
Yeah.
fair, like lighter skin. And then like they also have the Dove brand, which is like, oh, women are perfect. Like whatever you are, you're
Yeah.
good. So like it's again they talk through both sides of their mouth because it gets their money.
Totally. Yeah.
It reminds me of. Did you want to say something?
Yeah. I just want to say, like, again, like, I just feel like, like the cultural, like, aspects of it. Like, there is a health issue with obesity and overweight prominence in society. Like, how much that is like, but again, it's like as far as our social concerns about it, it's like I feel like they're mostly separate. I can't because I feel like the health. Like most people want to be healthy and like have a healthy
Yeah.
body weight and everything, but like I mean to the extent that any sort of like mass media messaging or cultural impact has to do with that, I kind of wonder. I feel like the majority of it is just the rest of us judging each other. Like,
and think about it this way, right? Like the reason why a lot of us have these obesity issues is because of corporations. So we like cheap
yeah, that's
food,
the other thing too.
right?
Yeah,
Like-
the umbrella corporation
Yeah.
that like sells you like fat shaming content also
Yes.
owns a sub brand
And-
which sells fucking Twinkies,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like
So
it's like
it's ridiculous because like they are like or the corn flour syrup. What is it? Corn syrup, right? Like corn syrup through everything.
corn syrup.
Corn syrup in everything, like
Yeah.
all the processed foods.
Yeah.
So all of these things, they made food cheap, but they also made it unhealthy at the same time.
Yeah.
And like they haven't reversed those processes. And today, if you want to be healthy and if you want to like not be obese, you gotta spend like extra money.
Yeah, like
Right.
the healthier food
Yeah,
is
like if
somehow
you
more
want
expensive
organic,
than
pay more.
Yeah.
You want like to be healthy and not die. Okay, then just like just like earn more and pay more,
Yeah.
and then maybe you will survive, right?
Yeah.
So it's just fucked up. So like they've actually fucked up the food systems so that we all now fat and now blaming us for being fat. It's
Yeah.
like, oh yo, you became fat. Like bitch, that's what you gave me.
Like that's the thing too. It's like the other part of that too is
Sorry.
like it's very, it's very targeted. Like because like I like would like to lose some weight and like build some muscle and stuff. But like I'm doing this in Vancouver with a okay income and circumstances, and healthy options are like available to me, and also like
And affordable.
Yeah, and affordable, and it's not so bad. But like again, it's like you see the morbidly obese people like who you take up 2 seats or whatever, like those sorts of, and it's like part of it is like it's like you.
Where do you even start?
Yeah, it's like where do you start, right? And it's like where do you start? Two, like where like even just knowing what you eat in a day would be difficult because like probably a lot like there's a show I was obsessed with called Super Size versus Super Skinny, and I mean that show actually took a very much like this is your responsibility to stop overeating sort of movement, but even there they emphasize like the emotional part of overeating and like the behaviors that make you overeat, and just like people underestimating how many calories are in something. And like takeaway food like was so prominent, and junk food and snacking was like so prominent.
Absolutely.
I think individually, I like the perspective of like when you're trying to help yourself.
Yes.
Individually, I like the perspective of like this. You have to take responsibility.
Totally.
There's things
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can do.
Yeah.
But when I hear other people with a perspective on other people, like judging
Yes.
You know, like then it's kind of like, dude, like this. What if this lady's working like 3 jobs to support her kids?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like
That's not
it
the
might
priority,
be.
yeah.
It might be easier for you to work out every day.
Yeah.
But for her to come home, feed her kids after work, I mean, like. Maybe she wants a fucking Twinkie. Let her have
Yeah.
a Twinkie.
Yeah,
Let her a
yeah.
fucking Twinkie after working her 3 jobs.
Yeah.
And trying to support her kids by herself.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, right?
That's-
So it's, you know.
Yeah, totally. And that's the thing too. It's like how many morbidly obese, like
People want to stay that way.
like wealthy, urban,
Yes.
morbidly obese people, like a lot less
Yes.
than kind of people who are, you know, subject to all these other
Absolutely.
intersections of like environmental, you know, factors and fucking
Yeah, environmental,
body,
health,
sexual abuse. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
the food becomes your comfort zone. You like because a common holy shit, a common thing that trainers or someone will say to you when you're trying to lose weight is like, you know, just keep track of everything you eat in a day.
Yeah.
But it's like for a lot of people, it's just like, you know, when you're in that, I can relate to some extent. Like, you know, when you're in a psychological state of like a binge eating or whatever, it's like, where do you even start? Like I
Yeah.
had like, you know, I'm emotionally using food to cope
To
with other things.
other
right?
emotions,
And so either
yeah.
you're mindless eating or you're like, you know, going through. Also, like, you know, people's metabolisms can be shot after years of overeating or just for other factors, like they don't have any muscle mass, so they get the skinny fat, like Peter Attia, he's a kind of a doctor. He was on Joe Rogan podcast. He has his own podcast, and he talks a lot about like nutrient partitioning.
Mm-hmm.
Like their bodies just aren't making, like they're just turning proteins, fats, and carbs all into fat.
Right.
And then because there's no load on the body, their hormones are all just not
Right,
working
right,
anymore because they're
right.
probably because they haven't exercised or anything else. Like
Right.
so they're just doing everything wrong metabolically.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then you know where he said that's why he's a big fasting proponent.
Interesting.
But you know, like, again though, it's like where like all of this stuff. It's like it's the same thing I have with like platform and like cultural factors. It's like these are people's individual health.
Yeah.
Like these
Yes.
are individuals'
Yes.
health situations, and so
Yes.
it's like we all have an opinion on it, right? It's like, but it's like it should be between them and their doctor. But these are some examples of some of the factors that you know lead to people having these situations, right? As I know from my brother's a doctor, and he you know it's very he tells you know it's very prominent in the medical community for like doctors to just flat out look at people and go like, yeah, we just want to like if they have a drug to like stimulate ghrelin or something, or they just like take a pill and to get their weight down, because they view it as a very, it's not a moral judgment, right? They view it as like, yeah, clinically people don't lose the weight, and we want you to lose the weight so that you live your life, and
Yep.
this is what's going to work, right?
Yep.
And it's like the same with the gastric band. It's like there's this guy, Dr. Now, who has a show on TLC, and like, you know, he deals with patients who like, so a gastric band, you know, they have that stomach, it's like a ring that they wrap around the stomach
Oh,
to
wow.
shrink the stomach.
Wow.
And it's actually a very popular procedure. So they shrink it so
Wow.
much so they just can't take in food anymore. And it's to get really overweight people to lose weight. But like,
So like
Even-
you wear a thing around your stomach?
No.
It's
Inside,
like surgery.
inside,
Surgery.
yeah, inside,
Surgery
yeah.
to physically shrink your stomach.
Yeah,
But the thing is,
shrink your stomach, yeah.
some people like, cause like food is their life kind of.
Yeah.
They gain weight even
Yeah.
with the best, or they don't lose enough weight with the gastric band because they have these things called slider meals,
Oh.
and they just mush up the food because your stomach becomes roughly this size, the size of a golf ball.
Oh my
So you can
God.
only hold that much to get you to lose the weight,
He's
and they can't even get you to do it. That's why he wants people to lose weight before they get the gastric band so that they get the motion of it. But like you can see like with him like the struggle of like someone with disordered eating pattern. And by the way, to be clear, like I think this is not body positivity, or like we've veered from it. This is morbid obesity.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the psychology of like food and like what's available to us is like this just kind of illustrates that. It's like it's so hard clinically to get people to lose weight and make behavior change and like factor it on, that like you can see why it's like just like staple your stomach, or like take a drug, or some doctors really do emphasize like the personal accountability thing.
Yeah.
But like
Nah.
we're all creatures.
By then
like,
it's like way.
by then
beyond.
it's like way beyond.
Yeah.
And like some of us even like we all have things that we struggle to change, right? Like it's like behavior change is rough, and so there's like I just feel like whenever we want to like just focus on like make it a moral failure and focus on people's individual choices, and like this is like the kind of judgment that we're gonna place on you for like not losing weight or whatever, that's only part of the story. Like environmental factors play huge amounts,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
True.
And like there's so many people,
socioeconomic factors.
Socioeconomic factors, and we also have like I don't know. Some people like single out the culture that we have of like apparently, we avoid individual responsibility, blah, blah, blah. But like I don't think this is the most egregious example of that. Like all those Wall Street guys. Well, the system was broken, you know. So when you took someone's life savings and spent it on cocaine and strippers, I mean, it's really the culture, and the free market will take care of it. But,
and I mean, like it's if there's a loophole, they feel entitled to like abuse it. So there's no individual accountability when it comes to loopholes.
Yeah, people like who are not in a position of particular power, we want to judge them a lot.
Yes.
And then people, like we do, like we want
to pile on like people who are already suffering. Essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're dealing with it. Like we should
the best they can.
Yeah. So. Yeah. As for the health conversation on it, like I'm not qualified, but like that's some of the stuff I know about, like positive messaging, non-messaging. As far as like body positive, like as far as like inclusion and stuff, like again, I really think for all of them is just to sell more stuff. But ultimately, I mean, if it is like an indicator that like we're more accepting of different body types, that's good. I think it's like I mean, like we should have consciousness that like when you're looking at like Chris Hemsworth as Thor and stuff, it's like that's not. Like you can like
which one, the fat one or?
Oh yeah, that's funny. There was a fat one, wasn't there?
he got fat after they killed Thanos, but Thanos made everybody.
I actually never saw. I still haven't seen it. I still haven't seen it.
You're not gonna.
I'm the worst.
You're never gonna watch it.
Yeah, but again, like these guys get paid to get jacked and keep their like body. Like they have
all
like
the
a
best
personal
vitamins
trainer.
in the world as well. The vitamins and the minerals, and the chicken and rice and broccoli and nothing else.
Like they have like nutritionists. They have like Weight Watchers. They have like a whole team of people training them essentially to become that whatever version of like a male god, right?
Exactly. So it's like it's not for your average person, like that's not super realistic.
No.
Like you can do it, but like you need to it's hard to dedicate the amount of time and stuff that goes into it, right?
Absolutely.
Especially if you don't have like an athletic base or whatever. Mm-hmm. But like in society, I think we're just recognizing a little bit more that like that's not super. Like it's okay not to look like that, and for probably from like the 20s to the 90s that was pushed like outrageously. I think it's really the 2000s or something where like the kind of pushback came and stuff of like there's been an adjacent phenomenon. So apparently some like the other thing too
What's
is like
the adjacent phenomenon?
Well, now it's kind of like the outrage culture. Like remember when I'm not sure if you know Adele lost a lot of weight, like singer, and then apparently like Rogan had an episode that people were mad at Adele for losing weight. But then it's like, because she was supposed to be a body positive role model.
Yeah, but like, I mean, she gets to do whatever the fuck she wants.
She can do whatever she wants. But like the thing that also bothers, like one is like I kind of mentioned like there's a small minority, like it's the small minorities within larger social movements that are singled out and said these people suck, rather than like okay, it's good to have body positivity overall.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I don't think the majority of people are upset at for losing weight. I'm sure there are some like on social media, but like the thing with social media too is like you can single out the 12 idiots and then just say there's 12 of them. That means there's hundreds of thousands of them, and they're all fucking just wanting people to be fat. And like it's I don't know. It's the outrage culture of it is also. Like whatever we think of like the capitalism of like body positivity and inclusion, like the outrage culture is its own sort of like market and a lucrative one. Like I think it's the same reason these guys get multi-million-dollar shows and stuff.
Yeah, I think like all people who are struggling with their weight or rather most people who are struggling with their weight probably want to do something about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Like if you could, totally.
Yeah. If you give them a chance, like I definitely want to do something. I don't know what to do, like. But I think by now they definitely understand that that's not the right way to be, for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, for your health.
For their own self, it's like, this is causing me issues in the kind of lifestyle that I want to live. It is like, holding me back in certain ways.
The lifestyle.
It's limiting. So I'm like, pretty sure they would want to do something about it, but then it falls to your socioeconomic factors, like all the other things that then help you or not help you make those changes, right?
Or social psychological. I mean, like again, like this is for doctors and health professionals, right? Like it's like there's a huge I've watched lectures and stuff from doctors and health professionals. Almost all of them point to like refined sugars and carbs as something like just so much of it. Literally. Junk food being so prominent.
So easily available for so cheap, essentially.
It's a very small number of them who's just like, everyone just sucks and they don't take responsibility. It's like, it's almost like, like behavior change is great, but it's like it's not even like people who have like medicine, like when a normal person of a normal like body weight and everything doesn't take their full instance of like the medicine that they're supposed to have.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I took it says take 7 pills, and it's like I took 5 and it felt better, so I stopped. Like that's a huge problem in medicine. It's like adherence, I think. And then like so like health professionals usually just look at environmental factors. They do point to messaging and like try and get your exercise and so on. But I feel like now, and I don't know the exact numbers on this, but my feeling now, and based on like what I've read and do not remember, is like healthy eating and like health and stuff has become more prominent, and like there's a lot more market. Like sparkling water is now I think growing faster than soft drinks and stuff. But like it's like it's a narrower segment of the population that's just hit really hard by morbid obesity and overweight.
Yes. And again, most of them are usually due to socioeconomic factors.
racialized,
like intersection,
poverty,
intersection of like a multiple factors.
Multiple factors,
So yes.
Are you still recording?
I have no idea. I don't think it is anymore. I think it stopped. I think that was the limit of my recording.
Yeah, that's what I figured. But that's okay.
So.
All right. Well, that was a good discussion, I think, so far. We probably won't have Bobby's face for the last 7 minutes or something, because I don't know when your thing stopped recording, but we'll have his voice.
Yeah.
We'll have a placeholder.
Yeah.
We'll have Chomsky's face.
Yeah, exactly.
Or just like take a picture, right, Bobby? Just like open the frame again and take a picture.
Oh, sure.
Right. I think you're frozen. Bobby, are you frozen? Right? It'll just be the frozen picture.
The frozen picture of Bobby. Maybe we can do a pixel art with his face moving.
You know what? I'm tired of you telling me to do pixel art. I'm just kidding.
I'm just saying, I'm putting it out there. You can do it or not.
That's just the video game, like pixel art, right?
Huh?
Pixel art? Like like assets and stuff.
Oh, but for next time, what are we talking about next time? The topic was AI something. But yeah, we'll talk about it next time, essentially. Something AI.
Salil's idea.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I think it's a good conversation in terms of how and where we are headed with AI. So, for next time.
On the next time of Life in Progress, right?
Yes, Life in Progress episode.
Okay. On the next episode.
Yes, on the next episode. Ciao.
You guys should call it Guy Communication students.
Guy Communications. It's like a spin-off from Guys making videos kind of.
There you go.